Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Today I wanted to share with you something that I wrote. I wrote it this morning while I was thinking about everything I've been through and really my testimony and my journey when it comes to redemption and shedding my old self and becoming a new creation, what that feels like for me. And so I just wrote down my thoughts and I want to share them with you because I believe the more vulnerable we are in front of each other, the more we can relate to each other, which increases our love for one another. And so that's exactly what we're going to do today. For today's topic, it is a hard thing to talk about. It's a hard topic, which has to do with physical abuse, sexual abuse, especially between a parent and a child. That's something that I experienced because after my mother passed away when I was about 5.5, 6 years old, my father sexually abused me from that 5, 6-year-old age all the way to when I was about 9.5, 10 years old. So he abused me for 4 or 5 years. And it happened while he was a truck driver. So he would drive from Minnesota to Georgia every other week, every few weeks, and he would take me with him on these truck trips, and that's when he would abuse me in the back of his truck. And not very few people knew. As a kid, I didn't talk about it because I didn't know how. I did not have the words nor the ability to describe how much pain I was in as a child. And so I kept it inside. And eventually, as I got older in high school and college, all of that pain that I was holding inside of me exploded. And I self-destructed because I couldn't take the pain and the heartache and the anger that I was feeling. And I really think this is a topic that people in the church don't talk about, and they should. I really feel like Christian content creators need to be talking about this subject because there's so many children today that are being abused physically and sexually. There are so many alcoholic fathers out there. And there's so many abusive fathers in the world, and they're putting their hands on children. And there's so many mothers looking the other way, pretending it isn't happening. And the church is just, either the church looks away and pretends it's not happening, or the church sees it happening and tries to cover it up. Just like I would say is happening in the Catholic Church, the Catholic side of things, with priests touching little kids, and then the Catholic Church just wanting it to go away, so they move that priest to a different school, to a different area, to a different location, to a different church. So they just cover up the problem. I just feel like this is something we should talk about more, and that's what I'm doing today. The title of this poetry piece is "He Found Me in the Dark." So we are going to start, brothers and sisters. I was born into silence, a kind that hums behind closed doors, where footsteps mean fear, and the word father tastes like ash. He was supposed to be my protector, but his hands became storms. His shadow swallowed every piece of safety I knew. There were no lullabies, only whispers that burned, and a little boy hiding under blankets, praying that God would notice. But I thought maybe he didn't. Maybe heaven had turned away. I learned how to disappear without leaving, how to smile when my soul was bleeding, how to build walls so high that even light refused to climb them. The mirror was my enemy, every reflection a reminder of the sin forced upon me. People saw a boy, but I saw a crime scene. I carried shame like a tattoo carved in bone. Every breath a secret I never chose to keep. And I swore I would never be weak enough to cry again. Years blurred like smoke. The bottle became my friend. The needle my confessor. The streets my sanctuary. I searched for numbness and called it peace. I searched for chaos and called it living. I hated my father, but I hated myself more. For still breathing, I thought maybe I was meant to die young, to fade before anyone found out how unholy I really was. And then, somewhere between a blackout and a prayer, he found me. Not the man in the pulpit with perfect words and clean hands, but him, the one with scars in his palms and sorrow in his eyes. He didn't flinch when he saw me trembling. He didn't turn away from my filth. He sat beside me in the alley of my soul and whispered, "I was there when you cried." I broke. For the first time in years, I broke. I asked him how could he love me, knowing what had been done, knowing what I would become. He said, because I took that pain and wore it on the cross. Because your father's sin does not define my son. And I wept, tears that I didn't know I still had, the kind that cleanse more than eyes. They wash away lies, they drown the demons whispering, you are unworthy. Healing wasn't easy. It came in fragments, in sleepless nights and trembling hands, in memories that clawed back from the grave. But every time I reached for him, he stayed. Every time the voices screamed, he whispered louder. Every time I wanted to die, he reminded me, I already did, so you could live. And slowly, I began to believe it, that I wasn't the shame, that I wasn't the secret, that I wasn't ruined. Now when I look back, I see that scared little boy, the one who prayed for rescue and thought heaven stayed silent. But heaven was crying with him. Jesus was standing in the corner, waiting for the day I would let him in. The scars on my heart are no longer wounds. They're windows where his light shines through. And though I will never forget what was done, it no longer owns me. Grace does. So this is my truth. I was hurt, I was broken, but I am not destroyed. My father's hands left bruises, but my father's hands left healing. I once lived in darkness, but the light found me anyway. He turned my pain into purpose, my silence into song. And now, every time I speak his name, the chains rattle, but they do not hold. Because I am free, because I am loved, because Jesus found me in the dark and called me his child forever. So that's what I wrote, brothers and sisters, when it comes to what happened to me when I was a child, about what my own father did to me with his dirty, rotten, wicked hands, of him putting his hands on my body. And I'm thankful for the Lord, because the Lord never abandoned me. He never left my side. And when I cried as a child, I thought I was alone, but Jesus was still with me. Jesus carried me through the storm. He gave me courage and strength to persevere. Even now, as someone who's 34 years old, and I know that he was providing me a way out, a way to survive. So I owe my life to Christ, because I wouldn't be here talking to you guys without Jesus. I would have easily overdosed, drank myself to death, shot myself, and unalived myself easily. I easily would have took my own life if I didn't have Jesus in my life. So I'm thankful. I hope and I pray that this reaches people, this poetry piece, because Christian content creators need to talk about this more. We need to talk about what kids are going through, and especially when it comes to children who are abused, because there's millions of children, millions of kids just like me who were abused physically, sexually, emotionally, mentally, that there are parents, there are uncles, there are aunts, there are family members who are taking advantage of children. And it's sickening. It's so evil that it's happening. But Christian content creators are silent. They don't want to talk about it because it's too emotional. But that's the point. That's why we need to talk about it more, because it's emotional, because it's the truth, because it's the reality that millions of children are being touched, are physically being molested. So I hope and I pray this gets out. I just want to say thank you for listening to me and watching this video. I hope and I pray for you, whoever you are on the other side of the screen. I love you unconditionally, and just know that there's someone who loves you. And if you ever need to talk about anything, I'm here for you. Just message me, and I promise I'll get back to you. And that you always have someone in your corner. I'm always going to be in your corner, protecting and comforting you, and trying my best to be the best friend I could be, the best brother I could be, the best servant of Christ I can be, the best child of God I can be. So thank you. You guys have a blessed afternoon, and take care of yourselves, and remember to pray tonight. God bless you. Much love. Peace.